everybody, it's Michael Hammer again. This is my third video in my series on my YouTube channel. I've been getting a lot of questions about vintage lenses and how best to use them and which ones work best on what cameras. So I thought I'd share my little collection here with everybody. What I first started using vintage Pentax lenses on was my Pentax ist-DL, which has been discontinued for about 10 years. 12-year-old entry-level 6 megapixel digital camera. I think it was the third or fourth offering from Pentax. And I would use basically a 50 millimeter, this one actually, because it's got the automatic button. I would use this lens. You have to manually focus, and oftentimes, depending on the body model or the Pentax that you are using, you need to change some settings in the menus, and you may lose menu functionality. But nowadays with digital images, all you got to do is click, take a look at the preview image, and you can adjust your exposure, your focus, and everything to meet your needs. And if something's a little bit off, you can always fix it in Camera Raw or Lightroom. So let's take a look at what I got here today. This is, of course, my camera pen. This is an invaluable tool. Everybody should have 1 or 3 in their camera bag. You get the dust off, clean your lens. Very handy tool. So anyway, here is my Pentax K20 Delta. I bought this used. I'm a huge fan of the Pentax line. Ever since my ist-DL, I took that thing through 10 years of hell before it finally died. So when I had the opportunity to purchase this guy, I jumped on it. It's 9 years old, but it's 14 megapixel. The only thing it really suffers in compared to modern cameras is the burst speed, which is quite slow, especially if you're wanting to use it for action, and the low light performance leaves much to be desired. I don't usually use this camera for low light. I can do some lower light conditions using the various lenses I have here because they have some pretty wide apertures, but this is what I mainly use for portraits and as a backup to my Nikon D3200, which I'm actually recording the video on. So what I have equipped on the camera right now is a Vivitar 28mm, and with the crop factor of 1.5, that comes out to roughly 47 millimeters. So it's almost like a 50 prime. I compared it with a 50 prime on some of my film cameras, and it's a little bit wider, so it's probably ending up somewhere around like between 35 and 42 realistically. But this is great when you need that little extra pinch, that little extra, you know, where you gotta try and step back a little bit, but you just can't do it because of walls or something like that. I looked up reviews. Everybody loves this lens on Pentax gear for landscapes and portraits. And I picked this lens up for $3 at a local thrift shop. Not bad. No defects. It's practically brand new. The inspection sticker's still on it. There's not even that much as far as like mounting marks and stuff on the mount. So that's one of the ones. I haven't gotten a chance to play with this yet, but I plan to. So we'll put that down. Now, of course, here's the standard kit lens, 18 to 55. Not much to say about this. Some people love them, some people hate them. It's a good camera lens. It will get the job done. It's better than, you know, trying to use a pinhole, I guess. But one of the things you might notice on here is that I have an extra attachment. And this is the Sony VCL MHG07. It's a wide angle conversion. The factor is 0.7, so that would turn like an 18. On this lens it turns 18 to about 12. I'm trying to get into real estate, and this is going to give me a little bit of an extra edge, make it a little bit wider. This attachment's been specially designed to eliminate as much vertical distortion as possible. No barrel, no pin cushion. I got this for $5 at the same thrift shop as I got the 28mm Vivitar. Pretty good. This is my original kit lens from my Pentax ist-DL. This is what really was the selling point for the K20 Delta that I bought. This is a film autofocus lens. 50mm prime, goes down to f1.4. It works pretty damn good on the K20 Delta. Some people have reported that it works really good all the way down to f1.4, but I've found that it's really soft, really dreamy and spacey looking until I bring it up to like 2.8, but still, it's a pretty decent lens for what I need it to do. I use this mostly for like headshot type portraits. On the DX body, it brings it up to about 75mm, so like a decent portrait lens. It's nice and small, autofocuses very fast. No issues with this lens. I love it. Here is my Tamron 75-300. This once again is a relic from my ist-DL days. I think I bought this for like $150 over 10 years ago. It's decent. I'm not going to win any, National Audubon Society photography contest or anything with it. It's a little bit soft. Doesn't bother me for normal things. I've used it for portraits on occasion when I really wanted to blast the background. And of course, being autofocus and of the same, overall generation of the K20 Delta, it works perfectly functional. No issues or anything. And that covers my modern era lenses. So let's start taking a look at the vintage glass. First one we're going to look at is this monster bad boy. This is a Gemini branded macro zoom, 80-200mm. Starts out at f3.9. It's very smooth. This is the kind where it's in and out for the barrel. It's got the macro guides. Goes up to f22. It's got your depth of field indicator. Very smooth, very nice lens. It focuses well. It's a little soft, but it's nearly a 40-year-old lens. It's in brand new shape. I can't even see any mounting marks, and I've been mounting it on my camera. I got this and one of the 50s for like $10 from a neighbor. Very satisfied. Yeah, it was this 50 I got right here with the automatic aperture. This is another 50. The only reason I brought this one out just to show you there are some minor differences. These are both f2.0, but this has the automatic aperture ring, which makes it a lot easier to change the aperture when you're using it on a modern digital camera. Sometimes the aperture doesn't want to turn, then you got to take the lens off, put it on, mess with it a little bit, and then it'll finally, when you use depth of field preview, you can see that it's stopping down. So, but this is a 50. It's decent. It performs nearly identical to the other one. Goes down to f2.0. Little bit of a softness issue on these lenses, but nothing big. I usually shoot at 2.8 just to make sure we don't have any of those issues, because these were not made for digital bodies. They tried. I think they did an admirable job. Pentax and the Ricoh, their parent company, of making the dimensions of these cameras similar enough that they will work under most circumstances, but not 100%, say like 97%, but it's better than the alternative. Now, one thing I wanted to say is I've been having a heck of a time finding old vintage glass for Pentax. That was one of the main initial draws to me for Pentax line of camera bodies, and apparently everybody else in America, because I used to be able to find lenses like these for $2, $1. They were cheaper than filters. You'd find them everywhere in all of the junk bins at every camera store, across the country. And then with the digital revolution, a lot of the camera stores started closing. People started snapping up all of the Pentax glass. A lot of the Nikon glass will work on the Nikons. I haven't been fortunate enough to find any Nikon glass yet in any sort of an affordable range, but when I do, trust me, I'll snap up a bunch and then pop up a video for you guys. So this one that I'm working on right now, immaculate condition, practically brand new. Hardly even any fingerprints. It's got an integral little lens flare hood. It is a 135mm prime. We're looking at a maximum aperture of 3.5 all the way down to 32, which isn't too bad. So on my camera, with a crop factor of 1.5, it's about a 205 or a 210, which is just about as telephoto as you want to go for portraits. But this gets you a much, well, 1 or 2 stops wider than you can get with the other telephotos. Like this, my zoom only goes to 4. This one starts at 4, but at 200, this one will probably end up being like 5.6. So it gets you that little bit extra nudge that you might need depending on what you're wanting to do. And I think I got this one for $5. Yeah, I got the this one, and this in the same place. I think I paid $11 for all 3 lenses. Yeah, something like that. I know it was under $20 for everything. All of the vintage glass that I have here. So, gonna take a quick break, and then what we'll do is go over some of the operations on how you install and uninstall the lenses, how you get them to work correctly with your Pentax camera. First thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you start with your camera in the off position. You don't want to be transferring lenses or changing lenses when your camera's on. That can cause some definite issues, especially with some of the smart lenses that have their own chips. You can end up frying them. The next thing you want to do is try to keep your camera inverted so that dust doesn't go inside. Some dust is still going to get in there, it's inevitable, but we want to use gravity to assist our process, so you kind of keep your camera inverted. And you want to look at the contacts, make sure none of them are corroded, clean or brush around the mounting area, and then what you want to do is select the lens that you want, of course inspect it, make sure it's clean, free of debris, find your aligning marks, the 2 orange marks, and then slowly but firmly attach your lens. You should hear a click. You don't need to force it. If it doesn't fit just as easy as that, it's probably not made for your camera. Some of these lenses, like the Vivitars and stuff, they don't say what camera system they're for. You just have to try it or know what your mount looks like. So now, there's the camera lens. So then you turn your camera on, and on the K20 Delta, it asks you to input the focal length manually. So this is a 28. So you don't need to make the conversion, you just go ahead and dial up to 28 or whatever number you're using. And there you go. And the thing you've got to remember too is it's manual focus. So don't get caught up in the autofocus thing and think that, oh, this lens sucks, everything's blurry. That's not the case. One thing you do want to make sure that you have on is what is called focus trap, or catch in focus. And the common name is a focus trap. So what it'll do is it will automatically catch when the image is in focus most of the time. What I do is I go slow, try to get it in focus. Darn mosquitoes. I don't know if you even saw that trying to snack on my arm. What you do is you get it as close to in focus as possible that your eye can see, and then you half press your shutter. And then this little green dot will come on, and you slowly adjust, and when it catches focus, it'll go bleedy deep or something. Let's see if I can do it. I don't know if you heard it, but it definitely caught focus. Now these aren't going to be as sharp as like the autofocus lenses, but they're going to be decent, and you're going to get that vintage film look. So that's basically all you got to do. To change aperture on it, you notice here you're not getting an aperture reading. You're not going to be able to meter as correctly as you would if there was an intelligent lens on here. But what does happen, and I can't show you in the camera, but I have this set up so that when I move the power button to the right, it stops it down and uses live, sort of like a live view, but it meters. and you can change the aperture and it meters for you. See that there? That's perfect right there. So if I took that picture, according to the meter in the camera, it's going to be decently exposed. And that's how you get around the inability to use the aperture wheel on the K20 Delta. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another break, and then I'm going to take some images using all of these lenses just to show you their different performance levels and what they can do. And I'm going to set up my tripod and take a picture of the same area, which hopefully will be some sort of a landscape type area. Not too many pretty areas over here, but I'll figure something out. All right, stay tuned.